So the Steam Next Fest started again this week, which is like the clarion call, the siren bell clanging, ringing above in hell, and I am the devil of the Steam Next Fest, and I played a lot of
The devil
demos.
of hell.
I'm the devil of the Steam Next Fest, which is hell. I played a lot of demos. I'll just mention the ones that seemed notable to me, as always.
Cool.
And I played a lot more than I'm going to talk about. And the amount I have to say about any given game should in no way be an indication of its quality. It's just how much I have to say about it. But I'll try to be laconic about all these games. I lost the footage for the first few games on my list here, so instead, please be treated to some trailers for the first 4 games, I think. First one, Shim, which I mentioned the other day, played the demo for it, where you play as a spirit hopping between shadows in a city. And the demo didn't blow me away, but it's easy to play. It's got a calm atmosphere, and I think it's going to incorporate some kind of like life story, emotional narrative.
Right.
But the gameplay itself is very kind of casual, easy to keep playing. And the demo stops
terrible title
at a certain point.
You can agree.
Yeah,
on
I don't
that,
know
right?
what's
Terrible
going on
title.
with that. I don't know what's going on with that.
Shim, more like shit. You
yeah,
know,
dude,
like just
You know,
too
I'm
easy.
Dude, it's actually
make
fine
it too
though.
easy.
It's actually fine. Threshold. I don't even have anything to say about this game because it was so short, but it's just weird and like off kilter. PS1 graphics. I'll probably check it out at some point just because of how much it was like intriguing. But it was like very lacking in substance, so I don't even have anything to say about it. Just check it out, look at the screenshots or whatever, you get the gist. Hollow Body, one word. This was actually shown in the Guerrilla Collective showcase, I think. This is another Silent Hill-esque game. Pretty solid atmosphere, gameplay.
Kind of
as the
digging
Steam
this
description
indie
says
trend
it.
of Silent Hill Resident Evil likes. Kind of digging this trend.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
This is a good time for me. But as the Steam description says, it's a tech noir survival horror set in the urban decay of a long abandoned British city. So it's in the future, and you like crash your flying car in a rainy abandoned city. So the atmosphere is on point, where some catastrophe maybe happened in the past, and you have to go exploring, and there are monsters. So I'll have to check this one out when it releases. As I said, pretty good atmosphere.
Checked so many of my boxes. I'm down.
Yeah, and it's like a little cyberpunky because like when you have like an AI companion, some kind of connection. When you see a corpse in the city, you get like a text readout of who they were and how they died, which is a detail I love.
Yeah, that is cool.
And there's some sort of creepo robo voice calling you on phones that should not work, like they're not even connected, being vaguely threatening. So it's an enticing array of elements there.
I dig this, yes.
Sea Frog is a 3D side-scrolling
skateboard-based
Sea Frog skate. Sea Frog skate on skateboard through the interiors of ships, and you can spin on stuff with your frog tongue. It's kind of like a skateboarding platformer thing with a cartoony, almost Mega Man Legends-esque
side-scrolling interface, it looks like.
Yeah, side-scrolling. Yeah, you're just like going around the ships, fixing leaks and jumping between the ships and stuff. More style points equates to more boost, which you need to keep going. I kind of sucked at it, but the sense of design is on point. I admire its confidence. Yeah, it's 3D elements or assets, but with a 2D perspective. It's neat.
Looks cool.
Blue Prince. is a first-person 3D puzzle room game with the gameplay conceit that you are exploring a mansion where at each door that you go through, you're actually deciding what the next room will be based on a random selection that you're presented with. And different rooms have different items and puzzles to offer. Sometimes like keys or money or something, some kind of boost or detraction, whatever. Sometimes tools for other rooms. The title sounds like blueprints,
Right.
and you are exploring the you're exploring the blueprints of the mansion. You only have so many steps per day, one of which is used up every time you enter or re-enter a room. So you're trying to fill out as many rooms as you can before you like hit a dead end or run out of steps. At which point you have to reset the day, and it resets all of the rooms again. And it's actually a cool idea as a like a puzzle roguelike. I'm not sure how good it will be. I was a little tired of the execution, like by the end of the demo. Maybe that's just me, but maybe it'll be really polished as a full release, and it'll have even more content than the demo has. But a cool concept, I would say.
All right.
Okay.
Blood
little blue
Typers.
Oh,
Little blueprints. Blood Typers is a
Oh,
survival
like
horror game.
let me guess.
Yo,
Yeah, I
Flask?
got it. This is like a medical professional simulator
Not at
about
all.
people who determine the types of blood
No.
people have.
No, not at
Flask.
all.
Me and Kurt played this as well.
Oh, did you?
Yup. We actually
Yeah,
like
it's
this. It's
a-
pretty cool. It's a pretty sick game.
It's an entirely keyboard-driven survival horror game. You type out words to move from point to point, and to pick up or use items to fight zombies, stuff like that. Naturally, it's a bit simplistic as a survival horror game goes, just because, or at least in the demo, just because, it's keyboard-driven, but it's a novel angle. And unlike Typing of the Dead, for instance, you're actually playing a basic sort of Resident Evil game. Like it's not on rails. You're exploring an environment just with your keyboard. So I could see like getting the hang of this and having a really fun, different sort of time. How do you guys like it, Craig?
We liked it. We got through up until we ended up getting all the tapes. I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think Vito was there also, but I don't
Okay.
remember. But and that's but we got all the tapes and
He's right here.
we tried to make our way to escape, but we ended up getting overwhelmed and died. But
I got
it was
overwhelmed
cool.
at some point.
I dig the magic. I used the spell book the most of the time, and I really like opening doors, leading enemies out, leading enemies around, trying to run around them. I thought it was pretty cool. Memorizing like things so I could just type them in as I get closer really quick.
Oh,
It was
sure.
a lot of fun too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Because if
I'm
you
like,
if you
I'm-
can see the word or know the word, you can like jump around further away, right? So you can like
Yup.
really kite enemies.
I'm
It's a cool
I might get
concept.
it. I want to see more enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
More
me too.
level, but I'm down.
Next one is Pinball Spire, which is that Pinballvania game where you play pinball, but it's a Metroidvania. And it was pretty fun from what I played. One critical flaw that I perceived is that in most Metroidvanias, you actually have control of your moving from room to room. But in this, because you are playing pinball, you are a pinball, it can easily get away from you and send you back to previous rooms without your consent. So you can have an unfortunate amount of wasted time getting back to where you were.
Well,
It
have
wasn't.
you ever played Sonic Spinball?
No, I never did.
It's a Sega Genesis game. As you can guess, it's a Sonic-themed pinball game, but it's also a platformer. So you're pinballing, but there are certain points where you'll like knock Sonic up to, and then it'll be a small, very small, like platforming part where you'll pick different, paths to the level. And I remember as a kid, it was so frustrating because you're playing pinball to get up to those platforming parts, and if you just can't play pinball well, you're never going to get up there.
Oh yeah.
So it sounds similar.
Yeah, you better be at least competent at pinball if you want any sort of sense of control over your movement. And I'm sure as you were playing, like with anything, you'll get the hang of it and have less unfortunate backtracking incidents. It wasn't too painful in a demo's length, at least, but I could see it being painful if you never got good at pinball.
Just get good.
Just get good. Caravan Sandwich is an open world exploration adventure game in the Ubisoft mold, specifically.
Sandwich.
Yeah, for some reason the W's capitalized. But in this case, you are driving around in a van that has tools that let you scan, and then you hop out and explore ruins or whatever to collect items you need, materials. Seems pretty easygoing. I'll probably give it a play at some point down the line. Good game feel, I would say.
I think the W is capitalized to further distance from the game you called Caravan Sandwich. It's in like a sandwich, like a hoagie.
Yeah. It's also spelled W-I-T-C-H, so maybe there's a sandwich.
Yeah, it's a sandwich.
Maybe there's
Like
a
a
witch.
swan- it's like
Sandwich.
It's like a swamp hag, but an offshoot.
Right. More dry.
Yeah.
The desert subspecies, if you will.
Yeah. Thank you.
Aero GPX.
But why will you?
Oh, you got more.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody went and made an F-Zero game.
It's just
There hasn't
F-Zero.
been an F-Zero game in 20 years.
It's just F-Zero. Maybe with some like gameplay or UI
Yo, it's
elements
sick,
from Wipeout.
though. I liked F-Zero.
It felt pretty good. Pretty learnable. Fast-paced, anti-grav racer. Just like you'd want from an F-Zero. Just, felt
I
good.
feel like we could have some fun with this.
For sure.
You guys, were anybody here an F-Zero head growing up? I mean, I wasn't
No,
like a
not
big
really.
F-Zero head, but I had the
No.
GameCube 6.
I didn't have Nintendo stuff. So no.
I always meant to get
Well,
into it.
the GameCube F-Zero game,
GX.
what was it, F-Zero GX, I think? Yeah, F-Zero GX, that was sick.
Played
Just now you guys
played
know.
Wipeout on the PlayStation.
Well, Aero
who
GPX has a
cares?
little bit of Wipeout DNA, I will say.
There you go.
There you go. They've kind
Yeah,
of,
I
I feel
played
like those two
Power Slave.
franchises have kind of like melded over the years into like current people's perception of anti-grav racers,
Yeah.
I feel like no anti-grav racer these days escapes having a little bit of both in there.
What the fuck is going on in this game?
Zero
This game looks
Protocol
cool.
is a survival horror that looks sort of like a modern System Shock. Plays a little bit like that too. And I just wanted to mention this because the combat is crap. The shooting feels bad. I actually,
Honestly, I was just watching the trailer and I was about to say the combat looks like ass.
I don't want to make an assessment before I touch it, but I touched it and I actually unwishlisted this game because of it, which doesn't normally happen. That's rare that I unwishlist something that looks cool on the surface.
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer. Demon School, one word. We saw trailers
a
for
whole
this at one
school
point.
for 'em?
You got a whole school for demons. Although you're kind of
What?
just
I was about to say, I know I'm going back a couple. That just reminded me. We saw trailers to the pinball game before, right? I feel like I've seen that.
Oh,
before.
I mentioned it as part of
Pinball
the
Spire?
I don't know,
Oh.
Gorilla or some recent thing where it was shown
Devolver?
off. Maybe Devolver.
Is this Disgaea?
I am not familiar with tactics games, but it's a tactics RPG. So maybe I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Where motion equals action. What does that mean?
It's a tactics game, so you're like moving, I guess, but like when you move into enemies, it like attacks them. So maybe that's what it means. Yeah, Demon
Yeah,
School very clearly
I
patterned.
think that's.
What are you gonna say?
I was about to say. I think that's what it means because usually tactics games you would have like attacks with ranges and stuff, and you're saying this one you move into them.
Yeah,
I guess I've seen that in tactics games.
that must be
Huh.
what it means then.
Mo-
But like in pretty much every way, including like the camera perspective and the general gameplay, aside from the actual tactics stuff itself, very clearly patterned after the first two Persona games. So you got like, you know, social interactions and stuff like that as well. They're basically just a modern version of those. But it's got, you know, good pixel art, and I'm not too, yeah, as I said, I'm not too familiar with tactics games, but this one seemed pretty good.
I see. This what sets us apart from tactics is not just that I think the only thing that you do is move. And how you move and what is determines what you, like there's a planning phase where you dictate everybody's movement, and then an action phase everybody moves. That's a little bit different.
Now that you say that, yes, that is correct. I am so not familiar with tactics games that I wasn't sure how much this one was set apart from others. But yes, the planning phase, you move all your characters based on your, you know, your action points, your AP. And moving into enemies or allies achieves different effects, and sometimes you have a special meter that fills up. And then once you run out of action points or want to finish your turn, you actually hit like the action button, and then all of the movements that you planned out play out in like a real time span of just a few seconds. And so all the stuff happens in quick succession.
Posting a GIF from the game, but I dig this system.
Yeah, it seemed fun. I sucked at it the first like round, and then I kind of got the hang of it, and I could see getting good at it, having some fun.
Yeah, Demon's cool. Demon's cool.
Chul. Parcel Core. It is BMX Crazy Taxi. That is what it is. And the gameplay seems solid enough to me. So if BMX Crazy Taxi sounds like a good time to you, you might just have one.
Obviously, this is a much more fleshed out version, but they have a very simplified version of this in the latest Yakuza game as a mini game.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're just delivering food, but, you know, you're on a bike and you're doing kind of crazy taxi style. But, you know, that just has like a few jumps and
like
flips. You're not like bouncing off the
watching the
wall
trailer.
and stuff.
Right.
I'm half watching the trailer. There, very quickly in the trailer, it goes to live action. I thought this guy was Joe McHale, and I was like, "Why is Joe McHale in this game?"
Oh,
the marketing director just kind of vaguely looks like.
Yeah,
him.
I can see that. Yeah, they're doing that thing where like they have live action like marketing with the guy dressed as a Parcel Core employee or whatever, and then he's also like in the game. They modeled him for the game, and he's one of the mission providers, at least in the demo. Let's see. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is a 2D Zelda-like adventure, specifically fashioned after the Game Boy Advance entries in both design and art style. The conceit of this is that you use a yo-yo to do combat and solve puzzles, and you can bounce it around the environment at particular points. And from what I played, it's a good one of these, well made, and I very well may check it out. May very well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm huge on the art style, but it looks good. It could be fun.
It's like pixel arty. If you don't like pixel art, I guess you wouldn't like this.
Yeah, no, I mean I kind of do, but it's like I don't know, it's like Game Boy Advanced pixel art. You know, like there's like.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
a little more blotchy or something, like a little more flat than
Yeah, I don't have the right
actual pixely.
artist words, but yeah, we're on the same vibe.
I get you. But it was fun to play. It was like those
Yeah,
2D Zeldars. Creatures of Ava is a 3D puzzle platform adventure. You're exploring ancient alien ruins and taking pictures of alien wildlife. From what I played, it seems like the combat will consist of like helping or healing creatures with your staff, your like Magitech staff, by beaming them while you're dodging and jumping. And it seems solid, so I'll likely give this one a shot. Kind of reminded me a little of Star Fox Adventures. Fumes is a car combat game. Fumes. With it's a car combat game with a funny, bouncy physics. You're like Mad Maxing across a desert, getting into high speed scraps with other cars, and by destroying your enemies and completing missions and such, you earn new upgrades and weapons, so you can go into the garage and customize your rig after your missions. But right now it's pre-alpha.
I'm digging the art direction.
Oh yeah, it's good. It looks good, feels good. Right now, it's still pre-alpha, but so I'm sure it'll become like more richly featured. But from what I played, it was fun. It had potential for sure. If you like your Mad Max, your fast-paced car combat action.
It's so funny you keep saying Mad Max instead of like words like Twisted Metal.
Yeah. So I say that specifically because like I guess Twisted Metal is just as apt a comparison. I just think about Mad Max more in the
But these are real cars with guns mounted on them and not like wacky vehicles and shit. Like Twisted Metal had the guy whose vehicle was like 2 giant wheels.
Correct. Why'd you do that, Greg?
Misclicked my
right,
button.
Mr. Greg.
I misclicked. My bad.
Greg just played a soundbite from Smiling Friends into the recording.
Whoopsie.
Sorry, I fat fingered that. I deleted it. My bad.
Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, I guess
I thought you were making fun of us.
Oh no.
I guess the reason for the Mad Max in my head is just because you are like modifying this very janky sort of rig that you have. You're just like slapping different stuff on your rusty old rig and bouncing across the desert. And I guess the desert setting also contributes to that as well in my mind. But definitely, if you like Twisted Metal, you might also get a kick out of Fumes.
See, I'm not I don't like car games. I need to be able to get out of the vehicle. Okay. I think that's what my big thing with Twisted Metal was. Why I was not into that.
Yeah, the gameplay loop in this one seems like it's the kind of car only game that I like, where there's nothing finicky. There's no like, oh, I have to navigate my car. The whole game is just like, because it's in a desert, the whole game is just going fast and bouncing around and blowing stuff up. So it's like, a lot of games that have cars in them, there are some moments where I would prefer to get out, but in this one, I wasn't thinking about that at all. But I can completely understand where you're coming from.
Cool. Fumes.
The Operator is a game where you play as a tech research person for like a federal agency, and you communicate with agents in the field and help them with their cases from your computer. And you have to do some investigating and, find information for them, compare information. But of course, there may also be some sort of conspiracy worth looking into on the down low. And from what I played, could be pretty good.
How much game is here?
How much game is here?
Is this like a walking simulator in the style of a hyperspace or a hypnospace? Or is this like is it closer to like just a hypnospace kind of game?
So the demo, the content I think is kind of shallow in the demo, but I could definitely see it getting more deep and more challenging. I think it'll be more along the lines of like a genuine hypnospace where you are exploring. Although, unlike that one, I think you will be guided mission by mission more so throughout the entire game. So less like genuine freedom to do whatever you want, and more like I have to solve this case now or that case. But yeah, it's not like a lack of gameplay by any means, although the demo was shallow, fairly shallow.
Okay.
Seemed like it could be a good time. Dungeons of Hinterberg. We've been seeing a bunch about this one. This is the an action adventure game. I felt it was competent, and despite there is definite Zelda energy to its gameplay, but despite that, its artistic profile is quite different. The one dungeon in the demo that you go through was tightly designed and pretty cool, but it's got like a whole unique sense of style, unlike Zelda games. So if the game can manage a lot of that, kind of doing its own thing, I think it'll be worthwhile. This is one that is coming to Game Pass in July, so I'll touch it for sure.
It's got like a retro future thing going on.
Yeah, it's unclear like what the setting is supposed to be exactly, but there's clearly some sort of like high tech, almost magical stuff going on.
Yeah, well, looking at the video, it looks like, it's kind of modern times-ish in the city, but yeah, her sword is kind of high tech and yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And it's set in like the mountains, and you're sliding around. A Kimbot is just a Ratchet and Clank clone that has worse artistic originality because everything is robots, and worse character personalities, unfortunately, and also sort of boring combat, at least in the demo.
Bad game. Next.
It's weird because the game is competently made, but it's like they didn't steal enough from Ratchet and Clank. I always find that funny when someone wants to remake their favorite games and then is like, but I want to do it my own way, and then their own way is just boring. It's strange because the game doesn't feel bad to play. It's not like jank or anything. It's weird. Good on them for what they accomplished, I guess. Lock Digital. Apparently this is like an adaptation of a puzzle book or something. It's sort of like word search puzzles. You're trying to fill out like an entire grid of letters by making words over and over again, and there are certain rules about like adjacent cells. Just a casual puzzle game. It's pretty enjoyable. Completely different from that though is Necrophosis, which is We Have Scorn at Home. Which it didn't leave a great impression with me because the gameplay consisted of basically just inserting organs into things. That's the entire game. So in the demo, and almost the first thing that happens is a giant dude walks up to you and quotes the entirety of the poem Ozymandias to you while you're frozen, which I like the poem. It's just a pretty basic thing to do right away, like as your first impression.
There's at least good voice acting.
Yeah, the voice acting was good, and even more so, the art direction in the demo area, at least, is genuinely sick. Like they did not skimp on how metal and corpsey the environment looks. So for doing Scorn at Home, it's doing it right in the visuals department and the sound department as well. So we'll see if it's worth actually playing, or if it's like, more boring than even Scorn was.
Yeah,
but John,
man, Scorn was okay, but man, they hyped it up to be better. I don't know where I was going with that. Hopefully, this is better.
It was a cool game to experience at the time, but
yeah.
But kind of forgettable in terms of like actual gameplay experience.
Definitely.
John, this isn't the last one. Fuck you. But this one has been it's been worth it to get to this entry, which is Monkey Simulator.
All right, you pulled me back in.
Reeled you back in with a speedrunning parkour monkey game where you're trying to get the fastest time per level. It's not bad. Monkey
This
Simulator
does
is
look
pretty
pretty
fun.
cool.
And you're trying to get to the
Usually-
banana at the end of each level.
Usually, I'm not a big speed run kind of person. Precision. That's why I kind of like the Angerfoot. It's coming out soon because it kind of made me like that. But looking at this video, and you know me, I do like monkeys.
I do
And
know that.
you're bashing him with a club. He's blocking bullets with swords. It could be fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I wasn't that good at it in the demo, but it was pretty fun from what I played. Phantom Spark is a time trial Wipeout-esque racer. So if you remember, we talked about the F-Zero with a little bit of Wipeout in there. This is Wipeout with a little bit of Wipeout in there. Very cool.
With the dash of F-Zero.
Maybe. But it's like time trial based, so you're doing it solo. You're racing ghosts. Very cool. Good gameplay, good style. Phantom Spark. Probably check this one out. Just got a few more. Waltz
just a
and
few.
Jam. Yeah, just a few.
Just a few more.
Waltz and Jam. Pretty cute isometric
I
action
can't
adventure.
keep up, I'll be honest.
That's fine. You can always go back and look at them. I'm posting each of these in our discussion chat. You can always go back and look at these at your own leisure. But this is a Waltz and Jam is like an isometric action adventure, playing as a ghost and his dog on a journey through a spooky place. I think this will be a pretty good one to play, fun one to play come Halloween. You're like in a spooky purgatory before heaven or hell.
Before which one?
Star Trucker.
No, I think I played this one.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I played a demo of it before. Some sort of demo before.
Okay.
I did not dig the demo for some reason.
Yeah, so
I
it's
talked about it
Oh, maybe I just
very
forget.
briefly.
Yeah, it's a big rig cargo hauling simulation game, except you're in space. So the truck is a spaceship and controls as such. So I could see it not being for everyone just because spaceship controls can be very divisive. You know, you're hewing and pitching and stuff like that. But yeah, you're hauling between space stations. It's a truck sim. So it's pretty good. It's not really my type of game so much, but I wanted to try it just because space. It was pretty good at the sim aspects and sort of the economy you're dealing with and being a space truck. Couple more. I Am Your Beast is a first person fast-paced level-based action shooter with a premise sort of like Rambo. They drew First Blood type of stuff. And your goal is to complete each level as efficiently and as badassly as possible. And you're scored based on your performance. Seemed pretty cool. Ends up being kind of pretty fast-paced combat.
Just watching the video of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like a Vito game.
I could see that.
Yeah, getting Vito vibes.
And the last one is just I saw Knoxville post this the other day. I wanted to try it out. Tower of Mask, which is a grid movement dungeon crawler, first person, in the tradition of something like Dungeon Master or Legend of Grimrock or what have you, whatever your frame of reference is. It was decent, pretty neat. We'll see if like the demo is kind of the shallow representation of what the ultimate game will be, because it wasn't that in depth in what I played.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool. People are still making these kind of games, but
I respect it.
yeah.
I respect that the indie
probably.
scene can have a lot for everybody, or have something for everybody, because of how much it has. You know, how many different
Yeah.
developers are just doing what
Right.
they love.